Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast, Georgia Indy Talk edition. I am, of course, Nick McDaniel, and as always, I am joined by my buddy Myron.
Yes, sir. We are back. Man, I am so excited about indie wrestling in Georgia these days. I've been going to the most dynamite shows and seeing some of the best wrestling I've ever seen.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. Before we get on, man, did that fucking get? I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to go back to that. I love that like rock entrance compared to sometimes that. I love the art of the school one of the main show, but that I love that. Dun, dun, I'm sorry, I'm a little more. So, and we always tell you, man, if you do that, that stuff's made for our show. Our buddy
Yes.
over at Punk Flesh made that for us. Check them out on Spotify, Punk Flesh. Dude, they got some good shit over there. I'm sorry. So anyway,
Oh, he's amazing. He's amazing.
yeah, he's a good kid. But man, speaking of kids and a lot of good shit. So let's start where we started this past weekend. Before we look ahead to this coming up weekend, we made the trip up to the hot box that is and when I mean hot box, I mean it's twofold of how I mean it. A lot of good shit going on and fucking hot up in there in the summertime.
Oh, it was comfortable though last Saturday night.
It did cool
I
off.
actually
I'll let
enjoyed
that slide. Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. But the heat inside was coming from the ring and the crowd and some of the best performers in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, man, Anarchy's on a roll, man. Don't if you haven't been, you really should make the trip up there to Cornelia at the Landmark Arena. I mean, it's a historic building at this point, right? If you're a pro
Yes.
wrestling fan and you have not been, it's a place you have to check out.
Who hasn't been there? I mean, who hasn't wrestled there?
Right, there are guys like go out of there that want to work there. I mean, we were joking about it,
Styles.
dude. I was
all
looking
of
at the other night. I was like, look, Theory's on Raw Wrestling. Matt Riddle's on Raw Wrestling. Like you said, I mean, guys like AJ and on and on and on. Guys have worked there, dude. And then you watch AEW, same thing, man. You're just kind of like, dude, that's just awesome. But like you said, what you're seeing there now is you're seeing a lot of talent and guys that are on their climb as well, who I think down the road you're going to see on television.
Definitely.
So yeah, and look, let's start it off at the beginning. The whole night started out with the state of the program. Look, after Hardcore Hell, they were just in shambles. They had lost titles. They were just in a very bad way. Only to be interrupted, during their pout fest, was one Matt Hankins breaks in the song and entertains the crowd, only like Matt Hankins can do.
Oh my God. I laughed so hard. I enjoyed this so much. It was so entertaining. The Undeniable singing with them and their own personal unicorn, almost said leprechaun, their own personal unicorn blew bubbles all over you, hit you with bubbles. He was blowing bubbles. Matt Hankins was singing. The Undeniable was dancing. That place went insane.
Yeah.
Went insane. The program's flipping out in the ring. Hankins slowly sings his way out. And then Todd's music hits. Todd Sexton comes out. Todd goes and gets the ladder. Sets the ladder up next to the ring and looks into the ring. Wow. The setup for that ladder. One ladder match. One ladder match where they had a bunch of ladders. It just had one ladder and it was done as best as I could possibly imagine it could be done.
Yeah, man. I mean, they set the table to get there very well with the first match. Todd defeats Hunter. I know Hunter debates that he did not lose. Todd defeated him for the NCW Junior Heavyweight Championship. They had the rematch and the Iron Man match.
Was phenomenal.
Phenomenal match. Goes to a draw. So now they're going to have the final match. And by the way, Todd Sexton's final match. We thought the funny thing was we went to the last one thinking that was the final match, but now he's got to defend it. So his final match, and they announced win, loser, draw. It's Todd's final match in the Landmark Arena, and that's pretty historic here in Georgia. And don't let that be lost on that. That's a huge moment, and it's kind of why we felt like we had to be there. We wanted to witness this spot, and like I said, when he pulled the ladder out, the fans went crazy. Just in general, the match was very, very well done.
Very in spots I've not seen before. Crazy shit, scary stuff. Everything a ladder match should have in it was in that match.
Yeah, and we, something we discussed on the main show this week, we talked about how things shouldn't always be pretty. Like, especially, you know, it's one thing when it's you and another talent actually working a match. Things can go wrong. Now you're involving a ladder, which completely can't cooperate.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
because it's, you know, it's not going to work with you. You got to just work around it, basically. And those two did a very spectacular job.
Yes.
Give the kid his due. Give the kid his props. He looked spectacular, and he ended up winning, and he has regained his baby, his NCW Junior Heavyweight Championship.
But you can't put over enough of how this kid has worked with Todd Sexton, one of the best technicians to ever wrestle in Georgia. And Hunter James just come along and worked with him and looked so great and hit all his marks. This trilogy is something for the ages, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's, you know, very much a spot of, you know, God, here we go. It's kind of going to make myself throw up in my mouth thinking about it, right? How at 19 the kid is that good.
Yeah.
Very, you know, look, I mean, he's so young. He's got all the potential in the world. And we say potential like, oh, how good he already is.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. So kudos to there's part one of our, you know, tip of the hat to the program.
Yeah.
Trust me, there'll be more. But also kudos to Todd Sexton for the, you know,
Yes.
the efforts and the match that he put, you know, that they had in his final one.
Todd was one of the first people to really be nice to us when we started hanging around Georgia wrestling, and to be able to witness his retirement tour like this, it's just been so powerful. I really appreciate you, Todd. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and we're going to discuss his opponent for Shindig and multiple fast flips right here. So when we saw the poster, it was funny. We saw the poster for this Anarchy show. A lot of things. Obviously, we were already hyped and we were pumped for the Hunter James versus Todd match in the ladder. But I saw Skrilla versus Nick Halen, two of my favorites here on the Georgia, you know, in the Georgia scene.
Yes.
I can't tell you how excited I was, and I will tell you this: I was not disappointed in the least in those two. I would hardly imagine that I would be, but you never know, right? Those two went out there and had a spectacular match. And I want to say one thing, it shows you how good Nick Halen really is. Mm-hmm. And two, when given the right dance partners, you know, guys who are good, solid talents, how good Skrill is as well.
Yes, definitely.
So I hope there's going to be a lot of people who see this match and realize the talents that both of these men have and how much, you know, there's what they have to offer their promotions. That's my take on it. And there might be something special to this, by the way, down the road. We'll get to that later. But the follow-up of this match, you know, Nick Halen did pick up the win, by the way. Kudos to Nick Halen. But the setup afterwards, I know just like you loved.
Yeah. Joe Black comes out. He challenges Nick Halen to a match. Brings up the fact they're both approved guys. It's going to be a best-of-3 series with the first person to win 2 matches getting the Anarchy Heritage title. But Joe came over. You know, Joe comes out so serious. This was so believable. It was so... His interactions with Nick Halen, the handshake and everything, the tension involved when he was in the ring, this was perfect. Now I'm dying to see this match or this series of matches. How great is that going to be? It was just the whole show was good, man. The whole show was good.
Yeah.
I was very surprised with Xavier Reyes and Najasism because there's such a size difference. Okay. And I'm always surprised to see Najee be able to work with people so much bigger than him so successfully. And the bigger guy, Reyes, was able to put it over and make it all work. And I'm dynamite.
Yeah, Najee does a spectacular job of, and this is not a knock on either guy, obviously, but Najee does a great job in there I think he mission accomplished. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And you know, Reyes picking up the win was kind of surprising. You know, I shouldn't be, but I kind of am. I was, that Naja's, he's on a hot streak all over, and,
Mm-hmm.
Southern Fried, Anarchy, etc. It just kind of caught me off guard a little bit and did pick up the win. We'll come back to Mr. Reyes. There's more to this story later, because after the match he was offered a spot with the program.
Mm-hmm. The coach,
he said
himself.
Yep, Scott Mason offered a spot, and he said no. But then we saw one of the slimiest, whiniest heels in the business. He comes out there. He's been faking this neck thing, Mr. J Too Strong, he's milking this thing, but looked like the commissioners had enough of the shenanigans of one J Too Strong with the doctor and the fake neck brace and all that kind of stuff. And he put him in a match, and of course he felt the wrath of one Jacob Ashworth. But somehow, some way, based on things you see and hear, I don't think J Too Strong is quite done with the commissioner. I think there's something there that we would need to watch down the road.
Look forward to that.
Jeter was on. Look, anytime you say Jeter's on the card, you just think mass destruction. Like there's going to be a lot. So him and Buck didn't quite end the way I think. I don't think we got the. Nobody's satisfied with that ending we got with the whole DQ and all that kind of stuff. The bigger surprise of what happened on that match, of course, is one Mr. Adrian Hawkins getting involved, clearly highlighting. I mean, they had the Southern Fried Championship there at Anarchy, and those, Hawkins and Buck have an interaction. Of course, Hawkins kind of attacking Buck after the match, really highlighting the fact that Shindig's coming.
Yes. Yes.
Is there anybody hotter than Duncan Mitchell in that building, it seems?
Wow, it's insane, man. Duncan is so over. The people go nuts when he comes out. He's over a lot of places, though. The kid is super talented.
What's not to like? The kid's got energy. The kid's got the look. He's got the, he's hyped. I mean, he's out there. He's busting it. He's doing his thing. Tell people all the time, man, what's not to love about the kid?
Yeah. Terrific job.
The funny thing is now there's a gentleman in that building who's loved in that building, who's hated almost everywhere else, and that is Cruel, as he went and faced Proc the Croc for the 5-star MVP title.
So Proc has the TV title.
He's the Anarchy Television
Member
Champion.
Member of the program.
Yep.
Has the TV title. They're introducing this new title, the 5-star MVP, which is completely different way than any other tag title I've ever, or any other title I've ever seen. Sorry. Wow.
Okay.
Explain the rules.
First, I'm going to tell you the rules. So the rules are if the match doesn't have a pinfall submission finish, essentially, then there's 3 judges who will determine the finish. So it's a whole different ball game. So of course we have this match with Proc and Cruel, and we don't have a definitive finish. So the judges decide for the match to continue.
Yes.
No DQ.
Yes.
Shit breaks down. No surprise.
Program gets involved.
And then we go back and introduce the concept we talked about earlier. Mr. Xavier Reyes gets involved. Proc the Croc is your new, I'm going to have to pause to say it, 5-star MVP champion.
Straight from Dave Meltzer himself.
Yeah, exactly. It's Meltzer's belt. So he's your last Anarchy TV champion. He's your first 5-star MVP champion. And we add there's lots of parts here. We add Xavier Reyes to the program. So the program in one night regained the NCW Junior Heavyweight Championship. Proc essentially retains, but he just transitions from being the TV champion to this new title. He's that. They gain a new member. It's the resurgence of the program.
But it took 4 of them to get Cruel down, and Cruel beat everybody's asses. There was a massive pull-apart brawl. It was just brutal. He is over as just a monster. He's got that monster gimmick down. The monster gimmick is getting over everywhere.
It's not a gimmick, man. That dude's a beast.
It is so serious. He couldn't be. I mean, everybody in Landmark realizes who he is, so they never could turn against him there. But they still are scared of this giant monster. and that's insane.
Yeah. It's a spectacular character, and I think what I love about the Cruel character is that yes, he's a babyface there. He is a monster, and he's hated everywhere else. But I think it's not just your typical monster. I think there's layers and layers
Mm-hmm.
of this onion to peel over time
Mm-hmm.
and to work. And I think we're going to see that across the state, and honestly across more than just the state, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I don't think it's the last we're going to see of Cruel, even in that building particularly.
No.
So, let's segue into where we're heading this weekend. This weekend, we're going to be heading, of course. Look, it's Shindig weekend. Where else would we be?
Yes. Shindig. I always love Shindig.
Yeah, Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, Monroe, Georgia, Boys and Girls Club, 7 p.m. Saturday. I wanted to make sure everybody had that first. It's their Mania.
Yes. It's crazy. It's a super, super stacked card. 8 matches. I don't see any way any of them could disappoint. Going to be solid top to bottom.
Yeah, I mean that's an understatement. Look, you're going to have for the Southern Fried Championship. We just discussed it. They had Buck and Hawkins had a run in at Anarchy. Heading down that direction. Hawkins. Here's my thing. Hawkins runs around saying he's your champion. I'm your champion. It's just he feels like this is his time to get his title back. He's always either at the top, near the top, or circling like a vulture around the top. I want to jump around here because I don't want to go in order exactly of the sheet. I know there's it's kind of crazy. But some people would argue there's multiple main events on this card. That's multiple matches that could fall into the main event. Obviously, your Southern Fried Championship would be your main event, theoretically. Nick Halen versus Todd Sexton. Kelly's going to be in the corner of Nick Halen. This is Todd's last match, period. I don't know that it gets bigger than that, on the personal level.
So excited for this.
Yeah. So this match will have all the emotion. It will have all of the action. It will be spectacular. I tell people, this match alone, if you're a Georgia indie wrestling fan, is where you should be on Saturday.
I would, if this was the only match on the card, I would go to see it. I mean, if the rest was just junk, I would still go to the show just to see that one match.
Yeah. Because everybody knows my feelings on good. Nick Halen is one of the best wrestlers in Georgia, and he says it, and I wholeheartedly endorse that statement. Then you're going to have the craziness. Look, we ended the last show in Monroe with total chaos, and we end up with the Undeniable with Matt Hankins, who will face Happy Madness as David Manders. Like, again, here we go again. Like, this is total chaos.
The self-proclaimed best tag team in Georgia, the Undeniable with Matt Hankins. After that last match they had, Hankins and Manders had, was that street fight that wound up so brutal, and the crowd was so hot. It was crazy in that place. So they're going to make it a 6-way. This is going to be huge. People go nuts for David wrestling. Okay. People love David Manders.
He is a beloved figure in that building.
Yes.
So that's why.
It's insane.
Yeah. Xavier Reyes, Michael Judas, 2 big studs are going to go clashing head on head. That's, look, it's not the only one. Strickland's got an open challenge. We all have our theories on who that'll be. If it is who we think it could be, again, monster versus, 2 beasts.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 big men, obviously. It's time for, I think in this case, I think it's time for, we're going to go back to Xavier Reyes versus Judas. This is key to his run. Like, I think this is to prove he's earned his spot at the table. And I think that's where we are for this match. Naja versus Bobby Moore for the Classics title.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a very good wrestling match.
Yes.
Tank and Jacob Ashworth in a no-holds-barred match will not be a classic wrestling match. It will be everything as violent as you could possibly want. It will be good.
Be a fight.
Yeah.
This is a fight.
Yep.
And I can't see how this won't be the most brutal match of the night.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Todd and Nick could be pretty personal, so I could see that one being, pretty violent, but not because there's no holds barred. I think there's more apt to be some, real extreme violence.
Yes.
But speaking of extreme, let's talk about the heat that Exotic Youth pulled off at the last show. When they won the opportunity to face Palmetto Express at this show, where they will fit, Hunter James and Luca Daniels for the Southern Fried Tag Team.
We didn't even know what was happening.
It was just madness. It was chaos. The fans is absolutely just the heat that was going on. That was just wow.
And the Palmetto Express are so over there. Okay, we talk about Hunter as a heel, as an evil figure on the show, next show. In Monroe, he is loved by all.
Yep.
The Golden Boy. Him and Luca Daniels, their tag team, is so popular.
I always tease him. I don't quite understand because he's kind of the same guy no matter where he goes. Some people love him, some people hate him. But when they hate him, they really hate him.
Yeah, that's good.
But again, that goes back to Exotic Youth. They're just hated. I mean, they really are hated. So this will be, I honestly cannot imagine how hot this match will be because as loved as those two, young kids are, then you're going to have Exotic Youth over here just as hated as they are.
I wouldn't want to be working security. God, the nightmare that's going to be for them.
Yeah.
Thank God Rodney's going to be there.
Amen. And, again, so Monroe Boys and Girls Club, 405 Community Court, Saturday, 7 p.m., Shindig, biggest show of the year for Southern Fried Championship Wrestling. If you're not going to, look, we're going to be there. I'm sure pretty much anybody and everybody will be there. It's going to be a spectacular show. So absolutely.
Let's pack that house out, man.
Absolutely.
That place is so loud. Let's just blow the windows out of it.
Absolutely agree. Now, Friday night, we're not going to be able to make it to NCW, but they are back again and they are running. Yes. We were at the last show. Hunter James, he's poised, he's back on his perch as the junior heavyweight champion. I know Big Andy's going to be there, the champion, the tag, all the stuff that they've got going on in there. It's a great place to see these up and comers, that are coming along and developing. As long as some guys that are slipping in there to help them out, so don't sleep on it. So absolutely, if you're up in that Cornelia area on Friday, up in anywhere in the old North Georgia area, swing by and check them out. It's a great place. We just talked about it. It's a great place to watch wrestling.
Yeah,
I know there's a big showdown in Dublin. Lariato, dude, they've got a stacked card. That's on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
They've got Titan, the artist formerly known as Braun Strowman, whoever, EC3, formerly known as Heath Slater, Manny Lemon, Simon Sermon, Rekka Tahaka, tons of people on that poster, man. So
Simon Sermon is one of my favorite people to watch.
Yeah.
He is so good. He does his job so well. You have to catch him.
Oh yeah, he's spectacular. Absolutely agree. So if you're down in the southern area parts of Georgia on Saturday, check them out as well. So it's like we say almost every week. Look, there's somewhere for you to go, no matter where in the state you are. So look, check out the Robrod Report. We can't plug it enough, right? Every week we tell you, go on. You're watching us on YouTube. Go up in the search menu, type the Robrod Report. Go over there. He's going to tell you where all the shows are. And this week, for a fact, I know he talked about some shows in Alabama and Georgia. So it's all over.
Shows we didn't even know were running.
Right. He's one of the sources we use, for crying out loud.
Yeah, we use him as a source for the show.
Yeah. So, absolutely check out the Robrod Report. Subscribe to his channel so that every single week, by the way, turn your notifications on so when he does it, he'll tell you where all the shows are. So anyway, that's that's what happened last week. It's where we're heading this week. And so, we're looking forward to it and, more and more action in the Indy Talk.
I'm hyped. The best tag team in Georgia. It's going to be so cool to see this play out, man.
We'll check it all out, man.
Go to wrestling. If you're not enjoying the big guys, if WB's got you put off, go to someplace local. You won't be disappointed.
I agree. It's take your $10, man, or whatever the tickets are, and drop it and go have some entertainment for a few hours. So, well, that's all I have this week on the Indy Talk. You got anything else, man, before we get out of here?
I am not anything else. One subject though came up just as I was closing this whole thing out. When I went to Anarchy last Saturday night, I had a horrible day at work. We left after I got off work, went up there, and while I was in that building, none of my worries, none of my troubles, were there because I was entertained by a show, and it let me, when they say suspend your disbelief, I did that, and I just had 2.5 hours of the best piece watching a wrestling show you could possibly have.
Fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, people, for that.
Absolutely.
That's all I got.
Well, what's the old saying, brother? If I've got nothing, you've got nothing. What time is it?
It's time to tap out.